Out of 25,000 people, they had to narrow it down to the top 100. Out of the top 100, they narrow it down to the top 20 that will actually come on the show to compete against one another. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was number 21. I was an alternate. And somebody couldn't pass a background check. And an hour before the list was to be turned in to the network, I was moved down to number 20. Wow. And I ended up winning the whole show. Yeah. 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 I don't want you to lose for me. You'll be my latest victim. Why would you wanna do that for me? Why you wanna do that?
I said, mirror, mirror on the wall. All of a sudden wanna call.
Name.
My name is Tasha Page-Lockhart.
What's your occupation?
My occupation, I do a little bit of everything. I do a little something. No, I'm a singer, songwriter, and actress.
Favorite actress?
My favorite actress?
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot. One of my favorite actresses would be Meryl Streep.
Favorite artist?
My favorite artist would be my mother, Lisa Page Brooks.
What up, though?
What up, though?
So yeah, you from Detroit. I ain't even got to ask where you from. You from Detroit.
All day.
What part? West, east?
A little bit of both, but predominantly west side. I grew up on 7 Mile in Pinehurst, right around the corner from Mumford High School.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, I'm 6 Mile, Evergreen.
Boo.
Love bright Miami.
Right.
You know what it is. Okay. So you had a birthday that just passed. What you do for your birthday?
I did. I went to Puerto Rico for my birthday. I had a great birthday.
Okay. Tell me about
it. So I was surprised with the trip for my birthday, and I hadn't made any plans. And yeah, we went to Puerto Rico. We had a great time. I got a tan. And I was telling everybody it was my birthday. Everybody I walked by, I was like, it's my birthday. So yeah, we had a great time. Puerto Rico's amazing.
It sounded like you got flew out. Who flew you out?
I did get flew out. What you trying to say? We really in my business early on. We only 5 minutes in, and you talking about flew out. My man.
So you do better.
I do. It's amazing. It is a beautiful thing when the love that you give out is being reciprocated. So it's amazing. He's a tremendous blessing to me.
All right, Tasha, let's reflect. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Now, before you speak, I want you to give this 10 seconds.
When I look in the mirror, I see a girl, beautifully broken, perfectly flawed. I don't even know how I made it this far. And I'm asking myself questions like, why did I do it? Why did this happen to me? Then I said, you can get through it. You just have to believe what I do now. Gotta make it all count. So why not me? That's what I see when I look in the mirror.
So Tasha, when you look in the mirror, do you see outer or inner when you look in the mirror?
I mean, when you look this good, you gonna see. I'm just playing. No, seriously. I see everything. I see someone who is truly happy for the first time in my life. Like, I'm not pretending when I smile. It's a real smile. I see struggles. I see pain. I see joy. I see happiness. I see resilience. I see endurance. I see a fighter. That's what I see.
When you look in the mirror, what do you see that others might overlook?
When I look in the mirror, I see something that others may overlook. Hmm. I would say my shyness because I have a big personality. So, and I'm always on stage singing and doing things in front of people, but I'm actually shy. So it's like, it's weird because when I first see you, even if I've been knowing you for a long time, when I first see you, I'm quiet. I always have to warm up to a person, warm up to a situation or a room. So because I'm really shy. But people don't know that because they always see me in my element. So they feel like, oh, you have a bubbly personality. You're always fun. You're always laughing. But deep down inside, I'm really shy and don't like being in front of cameras or on stage in front of people.
To the person like who doesn't know Tasha at all,
hmm
who are you?
I am a powerful woman. I am a mother of two. I am a grandmother. You ain't never seen a 42-year-old grandmother look like this. I I am a daughter, a sister. I am a great friend, um, and just an all-around genuine person.
So how do you like being a mother? Let's actually take it back. When your first child, like how was that experience for you? And by the way, what is your child's name?
My oldest son, my firstborn son, his name is Ronald Deshaun Hughes. So I call him Deshaun, but when I'm mad, I call him Ronald. um, Having him was a turning point in my life because right before I had him, I was head of the student council. I was over the gospel choir in school. I was on the basketball team, so I would sing the national anthem at the games and then run in the locker room and change and then come out and play. And so I was doing so much in school. Everybody in my family had high hopes for me, and but they didn't know it was this other side to me. So I was skipping school, and I ended up getting pregnant by the guy who I was skipping school buying weed from. And that's how my oldest son got here. So it was difficult. My parents were pastoring a church at the time, and it was like I went from being the celebrated oldest daughter, we know you're going to do well, went from being that to like almost like the black sheep of my family. So it was a difficult transition, having my oldest son, and then I was on drugs at the time. So a lot of his, like maybe the first 4 years of his life, I don't really have a lot of memories. I don't have a lot of pictures or anything like that because he was mostly with my parents, my siblings, and with his on his dad's side of the family.
Okay, so yeah, you just said a lot. Hold on, we gotta go back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said you was on honors, right?
Mm-hmm.
You ended up getting pregnant. Your parents preach.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
they pastored the church.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was that first what was that reaction that your parents gave you when you told them, "Look, I'm pregnant"? Did they even know you was having sex at the time? Like,
I was skipping school, staying out late, and just like I would tell so we lived in a high-rise apartment, and we lived on the 19th floor. And so I would tell my mom I was going to wash clothes downstairs in the laundry room and be gone for 2 weeks. So not 2 hours or 2 days, 2 weeks.
So when you came back from 2 weeks, like how was that welcoming? Like,
oh, it was it was a tsunami.
Did they think you was gone? Like you went missing?
I mean, the police will be called. They knew where I was. They kind of had an idea where I was, but I didn't want my parents to know how bad it actually was as far as with my drug addiction.
Okay.
So that's why I would stay gone for days and weeks at a time.
Got you. Okay, so let's touch on that. Mm-hmm. So you were gone for 2 weeks because you were on drugs. So you was at the drug house?
I was just running the streets from pillar to post. Sometimes I would be sleeping in abandoned buildings, walking the streets like you see people walking the streets now. Like that's how strung out I was. I had a cocaine addiction for 5 years. I was doing cocaine, I was doing pills, ecstasy, Vicodins, 4, 5, 6 Vicodins a day. We used to lace our blunts with heroin. It was bad. I was doing a lot of drugs. And so I stayed gone a lot of the time because I didn't want to bring that lifestyle around my parents and my family.
So I'm assuming you grew up in the church.
Born and raised in the church. This is the church of God in Christ. This is the church of God in Christ. You cannot join in. You got to be born in. This is the church of God in Christ. All my Kojic family, you know what's up. That's the song. That's the song.
Okay, so where did this start? Like, who introduced you to these drugs? Like you said you was on coke, ecstasy. These are drugs that are pretty expensive too. You had to have some money to, kind of dabble in this. Like, who introduced you?
Okay, so what's crazy is I was addicted to drugs for 5 years, but I only ever paid for it maybe 5 or 6 times. Being a woman, pretty, got away with words, can talk your way into anything. You don't really have to pay for it. You don't have to pay for a lot of stuff. So I just never had to pay for it. It was always given to me. And I feel like that was almost a trick of the enemy as well, to lure me in even more and get me caught up with doing drugs because I didn't have to pay for it. So he was just throwing it at me to just pull me closer and closer into that life.
Did it ever cross your mind to say no? Like what was that first reaction to drugs? Did you say no before and then you was just like another time somebody introduced you to it and you was like, okay, I'm gonna try it this time? Like, how did that happen?
So I said no a couple of times because you know how you say you'll never do something. So it was like, oh, I'll never do cocaine, or I'll never do this, I'll never smoke weed, I'll never. And then little by little, the more and more, 13, 14 years old, smoking Black and Mild, smoking cigarettes, then you start smoking weed, now I'm drinking, now I'm having sex, and this just was like a gradual thing. And then being in the studio, I was a demo girl for some major producers in the industry, and at that time, I was demoing a lot of their records that they were getting placed. And so because I was in that environment where a lot of drug use was going on, I was around it and I was getting it for them. So I just had access to it. And I would see them doing it. I would see other people in the studio doing it. And they staying up for 2-3 days. They banging out hits. And I just got pulled into that lifestyle, feeling like, I guess this is what I'm supposed to be doing if I want to achieve these goals, because I really wanted to be in the music industry. And so because I saw what they were doing and they were successful, I tried it. And it took me down a 5-year ride of my life.
So this started when you said 13, or you started smoking?
I started smoking like Black and Milds and cigarettes and stuff when I was like 13, 14. But the cocaine use didn't start till I was about maybe like 17, 18.
Okay. So then you found out you was pregnant. Mm-hmm. Now what? Are you like, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna keep going?
So I definitely stopped the cocaine use when I found out I was pregnant. I still was like smoking weed and drinking here and there throughout the pregnancy. And then we had a house fire. And I remember I was in the basement watching Maury. And I had just finished. I was like maybe like 4 months pregnant, and I was upstairs smoking with the girl who lived upstairs. Her and her boyfriend lived upstairs from us, and we was upstairs smoking. And I came downstairs. I laid down, took a nap, and all I could hear, I just heard her screaming my name like Tasha, Tasha. And it was like far away at first, and then once I woke up, I couldn't even see in front of me. It was just like a cloud of smoke. And so she was like, the house is on fire, the house is on fire. And I woke up, I grabbed, like just reaching for stuff. I had on a bonnet and a gown and one house shoe. And I grabbed my purse, I grabbed money out the safe. I was just grabbing stuff that I could grab real quick. And then I ran upstairs and out the house, and I ran 4 houses down to the neighbors. And I'm sitting in the window watching as the police and the fire department, after they got the fire out, the dog ended up dying in the fire. And I'm watching while they're pulling pounds and pounds and pounds of weed out the house, guns, all kind of stuff out of the house. And they like, you ain't going back down there? You ain't gonna go get your stuff? I was like, girl, no. My parents are pastors. I was like, my parents are pastors. I'm not going back down there. The news was there. I was like, I'm not going down there. And so that was a wake-up call for me, especially being pregnant. And I was like, that's what really made me just cut all the smoking and drinking and all of that out for the duration of the pregnancy. And then I actually left his father at that time and went back to stay with my family at my grandparents' house.
Okay, so you and his father, y'all were together?
Yes, we were together. Okay.
And you left him because of the drugs and everything that was coming with it?
Just not because of the drugs. It was just I left that environment.
Got you.
Because I wanted to be in a safe place. And I knew going back home with my family, that was a safe place for me.
And he was attached to that environment?
Yes.
Got you. Okay, so what's next? You have your first kid. What happened after that? You said you left this environment, right? So now you got a kid.
Now I have a kid, but after I had my son, my first son, I go back to the environment. So now I am...
Why did you go back?
I went back because of the thing that got me started on drugs in the first place. So it wasn't just being around the environment and music industry. It was because I was molested by family members at a young age. And I was trying to mask that and hide that. And so it was a coping mechanism to deal with the pain and the things that had happened to me as a child. That's what originally started me with doing drugs.
What age were you when you got molested?
It's kind of hard to say. I think it was like 8 or 9 years old, from like 8 to like 11 years old.
Did you know at the time that this was wrong? This was something, that you wasn't supposed to, like, that was going on? It wasn't supposed to happen this way?
So at the time that it was happening, I didn't know that it was wrong, especially because of the people that were doing it were like close family members. So one of them was my uncle, and he was we had to go live with him for a short period of time. When my mother and my biological father got divorced, we went to go live with my uncle. My dad went to live with his brother, and we lived with my uncle. My uncle was a bodybuilder. He was huge. He was literally a bodybuilder and a trainer. And he was abusing my aunt, physically abusing my aunt. So we were afraid of him. And so there was no way I was going to say stop, make him stop or even tell anybody what he was doing because I was scared he was going to hit me. So it was so much fear built up in me. So when I was approached and asked to do the things he was asking me to do, I just did it and I never told anybody. So yeah, that was happening while I was in middle school. And I didn't know it was wrong because it was my uncle. And I thought all the girls at school, I thought this was happening. I thought it was like a thing. I didn't know until maybe I was in high school, maybe, that it was even wrong. Because it was like an unspoken thing. So nobody said anything. And then when I got older, I ended up finding out that I wasn't the first person that it happened to. So I guess that was the reason why it was such a hush-hush thing in our family, and nobody ever warned me about it or said anything because they were trying to keep secrets. So I feel like that's one of the worst ways to perpetuate. Let me say it like this. I feel like that is the way that generational curses continue on in families, when you keep quiet when things are happening. A lot of times in the church, we like to always stand behind prayer and plead the blood of Jesus and pray and pray and pray. And yes, we are to do those things, but we have to speak up. We have to say, pull the young generation to the side, pull your kids to the side, tell them what is happening to you, tell your nieces, tell your nephews what's going on with you, and warn them about the people that did it. Don't go anywhere by yourself with this person, flat out. And that didn't happen. So because that didn't happen, it happened to me.
What would you say to him now?
What I would say to him now is, I forgive you, but you still owe me an apology. That's what I would say. Because I feel like you can't let him get away. Like, you can't allow people to get off the hook. And it's not that you're bitter or that you're holding things against them. It's you're holding them accountable. Like, I'm around him all the time. I see him at family functions. I see him at birthday parties and everything. And we speak. And it's not even awkward, because when you really forgive somebody, you're not holding on to it. But you should have a conversation with me. You really should, because it's not just enough to get it right with God. We as adults and as believers have to go to the people that we've harmed. And we have to get things right with the people that we've done wrong.
Have you ever thought about going to him?
I haven't thought about going to him as much. Sometimes I have the thought, but sometimes I don't want to make that easy for him. The easy thing for me to do is to have a conversation with him, and then for him to deny it, or, try to act like, oh, that didn't happen, or to act like, sometimes I feel like I've gained so much ground in my healing journey that I don't want to set myself up for any type of disappointment that could come with me approaching him. Because again, I wasn't the person that did the offense. I was the victim in the situation. So the responsibility actually isn't on me to go to him.
What are some, normal challenges that Detroiters face? I asked that because, being from Detroit, we'd say something like, yeah, I used to fight every day. And they'd be like, what? You know how it go. Mm-hmm. So what are some normal challenges that we typically face in Detroit?
Some of the normal challenges that we face coming from Detroit, I would say it's hard to trust people because, we grow up, Detroit right now to this day, and have been for years, is in the top 10 of the most dangerous cities to live in the United States. So you always looking over your shoulder. You don't know who's who, what's what. My head stay on a swivel. I know where everybody is in this room right now. So I'm always like that. Whether I'm at a restaurant, no matter where I am, like I see it. I can see a situation before it happens. And I feel like that's one of the things, like, coming from Detroit, I'm side-eyeing everything and everybody until that trust is earned, or unless you prove to me like, okay, that's a genuine person. Other than that, I'm only gonna let you go so far or come so close.
What was that that, I guess, breaking point or turning point for the drugs? Like when you was like, yo, I'm done. Like, this is it. And you never looked back.
My turning point was when I got married. I ended up getting married, but before I got married, it was my childhood sweetheart, my youngest son's father. And we had been dating for like since I was like, we grew up together in church, so like 6-7 years old. Like that, we were just like that puppy love, always together at church convocations and conventions, sneaking, kissing behind walls and on stairwells and stuff. They having church downstairs, we upstairs on the 14th floor kissing at the ice machine. So he had moved to Atlanta. And he came back to Detroit and was like, you should come visit me for my birthday. And I was like, okay. And I have to say, of course, God helped me and delivered me. And he gets all the glory for where I am today and how far I've gone in my life. Because I've never been to rehab. I've literally, with the help of the Lord and deliverance and therapy and all the things, is how I got off drugs. But the actual process of it, I have to say that my son's father and one of my best friends, her name is Nikki Cole. The morning before I was supposed to get on the flight to go visit him for his birthday, I didn't have any luggage. I didn't have clean clothes. I had just been on a 3-day cocaine binge. I was so high. I was a mess. And I was like, I'm not going to Atlanta. She was like, yes, you are. Every excuse I gave her, she came back with something. Everybody needs a friend like Nikki. Every time I would be like, well, I don't have any clean clothes. She was like, take your dirty ones. It's like, I don't have any luggage. She came and picked me up. She took me to her mother's house. Her mother is one of the Clark sisters, Dr. Dorinda Clark Cole. And she took me to her mother's house. And she went, Auntie Dorinda, I owe you a piece of luggage. I owe you a piece of luggage. I'm gonna buy you a whole luggage set. She took me to her house, and I was outside in the car, and she went in the house and she got her mother's luggage, and I had my dirty clothes in a garbage bag, a black garbage bag. She put those clothes in that luggage and dropped me off at the airport and left me. It was like, you're getting on the flight and you're leaving Detroit. So I love you, Nikki. I love you so much. Thank you for helping to rescue me and save my life and get me out of the city of Detroit. And so I went to Atlanta, and we weren't married at the time yet, but my ex-husband, he took me to this church, New Life International Family Church, and the pastor's name is Bishop Jerron Williams. And from the first moment I walked in the doors of that church, I felt the love of God. And they literally loved the hell out of me. Like, literally. Everything that I was going through, I was one of those girls where I had a bad attitude. I was in church with my arms folded. I didn't want nobody to say nothing to me. I didn't want to be there. I'm withdrawn. I'm coming down off drugs. I was just terrible. And they just loved on me and loved on me and loved on me.
How old are you at this time?
At this time, I was 23 years old. 23 years old. And that was the beginning of my healing journey. That was the beginning of the process of me being healed.
And you've been sober ever since?
For 19 years.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Praise God.
Everybody.
Praise God.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
God be the glory.
It's extremely hard to do too at the age of 23.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Okay. Do you have any withdrawals? Like, do you think about it? Do you at all?
I don't think about it to the point where I want to do it again, but because we have sensors, we have senses, because we have our eyes, ears, nose, all of those things, which can be triggers. I'm reminded of times when I was doing drugs. It could be someone's cologne. It could be a song that plays on the radio, and it'll take me back to a time, and I'll see it in my mind exactly where I was, what I was doing. So those type of things happen often. And those are things that happen with everybody. But I don't think about doing drugs. I don't have any desire to do drugs. There's nothing in me that wants to go back to drug addiction or drug use.
Tasha, you've been through so much. What situation is like the toughest for you to think about, to just go back to that place? What's your toughest situation? Or the most traumatizing situation?
I've had a lot. I'm gonna give you my top 3.
Total. That's deep. Go
My
ahead.
top 3 was I met a guy at a gas station one day, and he looked like he had money, and I had a 1-year-old, and I left with him from that gas station and got in his car. We went to, there's a place in Detroit called Belle Isle. We went there, we was drinking. I remember what we was drinking. We were smoking weed, and we were drinking Patron shots, but we were chasing it with Budweiser. Zooted. And I think he laced my blunts, or I don't know if he put it in a drink or in a blunts, whatever. But after that, I remember, the next thing I remember after being on the island was, I remember my head laying up against the window. The window was cracked, and I can feel the breeze from the air, like on the right side of my face, like right at my forehead. And I was laying up against the window. And then I went out again. And then when I opened my eyes the second time, I was being gang by 5 men. So I think that will be at the top of the top. That's number 1 of the top 3. And that was really my turning point as well in getting to know who God was for myself. And my mother used to always say something that I didn't understand until that moment. And she used to say, God doesn't have any grandchildren. I used to be like, what is she talking about? What she meant by that was, you can't always get to God through me. Like, you got to go to God for yourself. He has to be your father. You have to get to know and have a relationship with him for yourself. And in that moment, while I was laying in that bed and I opened my eyes, and it was like, this cannot be happening to me. This is not supposed to happen to me. I'm the pastor's daughter. I'm the preacher's kid. My mother's a professional singer, traveling the world, winning awards. And how is this happening to me? And sometimes people sit in the judgment seat when they say, well, if this ever happened to me, I would do this, and I would scream, and I would fight, and you don't know what you would do when you find yourself in certain situations. Until it happens to you, you have no idea what you would do when it's a matter of life and death, because they could have killed me because I woke up while it was happening. And I don't think they ever intended on me waking up. So when I woke up and I started to look around the room, I could see, like, it was one guy right here by my head. It was one on top. It was one, like, right here. And then it was one, like, kitty corner, like, by the closet right there, kind of hiding. And it was one, like, stooped down on the floor. And none of them had clothes on. That's how I realized what was happening. And I didn't want to scream. Because my goal at that point was get out of this room alive. You have a child. Get out of this room alive. And I just started to think the name of Jesus over. I started to think the name of Jesus over and over in my mind. I never opened my mouth. I never said a word. I just started thinking his name. And that is how powerful the name of Jesus is. That is how powerful God is. And I don't know what they saw, but I believe the Lord allowed them to see something, because as I was thinking the name of Jesus over and over in my mind, they started scrambling. Their eyes got big and they just started saying, "We got to get her out of here." They threw me my clothes and they just started running out of the room. So in that moment, that is when God became real to me. And I will never, ever change my mind about serving him, living for him, singing for him, telling people about him, because I have too many experience. We got history together. I have too much experience with God I don't care what the government is saying. I don't care what society is doing. I don't care about any new trends or what anybody could say. You cannot change my mind about who God is and who he is to me. I'm sold and solid on that. And it's because, not strictly because of that, but that is like the top turning point of my relationship with God. He became real to me in that moment. So that was my top one. I know I said a lot. That was my top one. Number 2 was my second marriage. My second marriage. Thinking I'm, marrying someone that loved me and was going to protect me and honor me and be there for me. And this was during the pandemic. And all my concerts are canceled. Everything shut down. I went from having movies booked and all of this stuff, new music coming out, all of these things. And
this is after the success.
This is after Sunday Best. This is fast forward after all of that. This is 2020. And we had just got married in 2019. So we're like 8 months into our marriage. Pandemic hit. Bam. A week after my birthday. In March. Stuck in an apartment. A 1-bedroom apartment with somebody that I ended up finding out don't even like me. And this man looked at me and told me when I was crying, and I said, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I'm used to being on the road traveling. This is how I make my money. I didn't have a lot of money saved up at the time. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he looked at me and said, I don't want to be with anyone I have to take care of. And then it was just issue after issue after situation after situation. And I was told to my face that I was something like a project. And that I was like, so you've been playing with me all this time? And he paused for a long time and he said, yes, you can say that. And walked out the house. That would be number 2 on the most traumatic situations I've ever been through in my life. To my face. And so if I didn't want to end up in a prison cell, I called the movers immediately after he walked out that door. And 2 days later, I moved back to Detroit from New York. And I was married to a pastor. So yeah, let's pause on that. Yeah.
You ever seen him since?
Who? Yeah, I seen him. I've been around him. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you forgive him?
I do. I forgave him. I actually had to pray for him. He had a situation, and see, that's the thing. That's the thing. When you know you've been with as terrible of a person that you may be, as wicked as you may be, when you know you've been with somebody that really loved you for real and that is a good person, you know who to call when you get in trouble. And I had to end up praying for him because he was in a situation after we were no longer together, and I had to talk him down off of a ledge. And of all people, he had to call me. And it took everything in me to do it. But I did it because God told me to do it. And that's who I am. Number 3 for the most traumatic situations in my life. It was my father passing. And so we never said step parent. And this just happened in July of last year. July 16th rocked our family's world. My grandfather died. And when my grandfather died, I go to South Beach, Miami, for the 4th of July. I started a new tradition for myself because anybody can barbecue. I was tired of doing that. So I go watch the fireworks on the beach every year for the past couple of years. And I'm sitting on the beach and I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, call your father. And so I knew he was talking about my stepfather. So I called him and we had a long conversation. And I didn't know why at the time I was doing this, but I was thanking him. This is July 4th. I'm on the beach. The beach is full of people, fireworks, all of this is going on. And I'm talking to him saying, thank you so much for taking care of me and my sisters. Thank you for honoring my mother. Thank you for being the best father. Thank you for my first opportunity you gave me when I was 8 years old, when I did my first commercial for United Way. Thank you for every opportunity you've given me. The Lord gave me that opportunity to have closure with him. The next day, I flew into Detroit, and it was his father's funeral. So my grandfather, he stands up to start the funeral, the service, and has a stroke at the church in front of everybody. Ambulance comes. Everybody's praying. They rush him to the hospital. We get to the hospital, and the doctor comes in. He shows us the scan, and he says, the man you knew an hour ago, you'll never know again. We're still praying. Of course, we have faith. We're believing God. And I'm just trying to be strong for my mother. And he was in the hospital for 11 days. And then he passed July 16th. And so that's kind of where we're still coasting with that right now. Still coping with that, still dealing with that. Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in life?
I used to say no, but I regret not. I wish I was present in my oldest son's life. That 4 years, even though he doesn't remember it, but I do. I don't have a lot of memories of him as a baby. I can remember him as a baby, but I don't have a lot of memories with him as a baby and his first steps and all of those things because I was on drugs. I wanted to be in the WNBA. I was a basketball player. I used to study Reggie Miller. If I take these nails off right now,
You can't hoop like that.
What?
You ain't like that.
What?
You like that?
If I take my nails off right now, I can shoot from any point on that court. Absolutely. It'll go down. So, so I really wanted to see how far that I could go in that because I love the sport. I love basketball. And so I think I guess those would be my top 2 if I had any regrets.
Finish the sentence.
Okay.
You are a survivor of...
I am a survivor of life. I'm a survivor of molestation. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of drug addiction. I'm a survivor of all my bad decisions and my bad choices that I made in my life. And I'm a survivor of ignorant adults in my family that didn't do right. Yeah, that part.
You've been married twice. What does marriage mean to you?
Marriage is a powerful, it's a union, it's a covenant. I still believe in it. I still want to be married. I still will be married again. And It's God's plan for man and woman to replenish the earth, to populate, to reproduce. And it's the model for family. And I still believe in it, and I always will. It's powerful. When you could be great by yourself, but to have somebody with you, walking through life with you, like-minded, pushing you, encouraging you, supporting you, it's powerful. It's healing, and it'll change your life.
Definitely changed mine. You ever slid on your husband though?
Oh yeah, I've been cheated on and I cheated. I sit on both sides of the table. That's how I know I can. Listen, let me tell y'all something. I can put y'all up on so much game. But no, I've been on both sides. But one thing I will say is I never was like the initiator of it. And what I mean by that is I never was like the first one to do it.
You retaliated.
It was like when I found out what type of time you was on, I was like, okay, we doing that?
Yeah.
But then I would take it to the max though. Like I would take it like, oh, you gonna do that? Okay, so it's gonna be somebody you know. Like I was on that time. I was like on demon time for real. Like I was crazy, and so.
So what you do? Who you sleep with after that?
Well, you're really trying to get me.
You slept with the brother?
Trying to get me canceled. No, I ain't never slept with nobody's brother. But yeah, I had to prove a point that I'm better than you. So because I know I'm better than this than you gonna feel it. And that's what type of person I used to be. And I've grown a lot and matured a lot to the point where I have learned to not hurt myself because somebody else has hurt me. And that's really what you do when you abuse substances, when you get involved in infidelity and you do things like that. You're hurting yourself because you're hurt by someone else. And so I have the tools now to be able to manage my emotions, and I have the capacity to love again and not do certain things to get myself in those situations.
You started off very young doing music.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, did you always do gospel music, or were you doing something else like R&B?
No, so I was singing R&B and gospel. So the history behind my family is my grandfather was with Motown, and he was with a group called the Monitors. His name was Charles Warren Harris. And if you go to the Motown Museum, which is called Hitsville, USA, in Detroit, Michigan, you'll see my grandfather's picture on the wall. And so music runs deep in my blood. And then my mom came after that, and then here I come, and then now my son sings. And so it's just a generational thing. It's the family business. It's the family business.
Is that the youngest son or?
Yeah, my youngest son. My oldest son, he's a rapper, and then my youngest son, he sings and acts.
Let's talk about your career.
Okay.
When did things take off for you as far as your career? When did things like where you knew, okay, I'm the one, like I'm Tasha Lockhart, like this me, you know? When did was it an experience where you know, Sunday's Best, was that the moment that you was like, okay, I'm a superstar? Was it singing in the shower? Like, what was it?
So I always knew, like, I was her from a child. Like, for real. They said when I was 4, I was watching TV, and you know how they have those, like, the commercials where they show the kids from Africa?
Yeah.
And they're asking for money?
Yeah.
So I was watching that, and I told my family I'm going to go sing for those kids one day. And they said I was like 4 or 5 years old. And I said I was going to go sing for those kids one day. So I always knew, you know, my parents put that in me. My mom put that in me. She always affirmed us. I always knew I was special. I was talented. I was anointed, all of those things. But I would say the turning point where I really started taking it serious, where in 2013, when I won Sunday Best, there's a confidence that comes along with accomplishments. And sometimes it comes with validation from like your mentors or someone like that you look up to in your field. But sometimes it comes from the experience that I had on Sunday Best, winning the show when there were many other amazing singers on the show that went on to do great things. And just the way that it happened is really how I knew that it was God and that it was what I was supposed to be doing. So my number when I auditioned, first of all, I was in cosmetology school. I wasn't really thinking about doing music at all. I was doing it on the side, but it wasn't paying bills and it was slow. So I knew I could do hair and makeup, so I enrolled in cosmetology school. My whole life is a miracle and a testimony within itself. Because I remember, now let's go back. If y'all been listening to this story, if you following the story, I dropped out of school my 12th grade year because I got pregnant. I never graduated. So when music slowed down, I didn't have a GED. I didn't have anything. And back then, now you can get a job anywhere. Back then, if you put on that application that you didn't graduate, you're not getting that job. And you don't have a GED, 9 times out of 10, depending on what the job was, if you want to make any type of money, you're not getting that job. And in Detroit, there weren't many jobs that paid a lot of money unless you're working for the plant. Like, unless you're working for one of the big 3 auto, you're not really making a lot of money. Without a degree, if you're not a police officer, your only option is to sell drugs or strip. And I wasn't doing none of those. So I enrolled in cosmetology school. My grandmother was a hairstylist. And my cousin was a hairstylist and my grandmother. And so they taught me a lot. And I enrolled in cosmetology school. And one of my friends called me and said, I'm sending you to Houston to audition for Sunday Best. I was like, I don't want to go to... Yes, out the blue.
So she signed you up?
It was a guy. His name is Kenneth Wayne Daniels. He called me. And at this time, I'm singing R&B. I'm in clubs. He followed me from the club to the church. Just a loyal fan, and a supporter. I love him. To this day, we cool. And then 20 minutes later, my cousin Monica calls me and says, you need to start looking at the audition songs for Sunday Best. I'm sending you the link right now. You need to go audition for Sunday Best. I took that as a sign because she doesn't even know him and she didn't know that he had called and said that. And so I flew to Houston because I had missed the Detroit auditions, and I auditioned, and my number was 4,113.
Wow. Were you the last person?
I was in that last hour.
Okay, yeah.
And so the way the process goes is, I think they did maybe 5 or 6 cities. Well, if it was almost 5,000 people that auditioned in Houston, let's just say it was 5,000 people in all the cities, right? That's 25,000 people. That's 5 times 5 is 25, right? Okay. I see you smoke a lot of weed, sir. That's 25,000 people. So out of 25,000 people, they had to narrow it down to the top 100. Out of the top 100, they narrow it down to the top 20 that will actually come on the show to compete against one another. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was number 21. I was an alternate. And somebody couldn't pass a background check. And an hour before the list was to be turned in to the network, I was moved down to number 20. Wow. And I ended up winning the whole show. So it's got when you really go back and look, I could just trace the hand of God at every experience, everything that has happened up until this point in my life. And it's so amazing how he just has moved in my life and exposed me to millions of people almost overnight.
You have an amazing story. When are we doing the movie?
You tell me.
That's great. Okay.
It really is a movie. And you only getting the PG version.
So hold on. No way.
PG version.
Right.
Yes, you
no
do.
Way.
Listen, I still gotta preach and sing to people when this is over. I can't talk like I really want to talk. When y'all do the movie, y'all let the actors and actresses say all the stuff and do all the stuff. Yes.
What's next for you? What's next? Like, you got some singles, some albums. Like, what can we, I guess, look forward to from Tasha?
So what you can look forward to from me is new music that's fire. The best music I've ever made in my entire life. I'm in such a great place. I am in a healed place. I am the healthiest I've ever been. I am just, my mindset is just like, I'm just thanking God for where I am and everything that I've been through. There's nothing bitter in me. There's nothing, like, I'm just so happy. I'm so genuinely happy with where I am in my life. And so it's all in the music. It's all in the music. So new music, a book this year called Do the Work that talks about the process and what I had to go through to get healed and become, whole and healed and happy and all those things. I feel like the church has done a great job with getting people to the altar. We can get you saved. We can get you become a member of this church. The doors of the church are open. There's no aftercare plan. You can tell me you're not on drugs no more, but how did you get off drugs? You can tell me you used to be a hoe and sleep around and be a stripper, but how did you stop hoeing? Like, I want to know, like, what you do? You know what I'm saying? When that money dried up and you used to strip and make $10,000 a night, what you do after that? How did you stop? Because it's hard. It is hard. It's difficult. When you used to fast money, when you used to, if you used to be on drugs, when them withdrawals hit, and it's just you and God and pain in your body. How did you get through that? And so the book is going to be an interactive type of book where, because I'm a licensed certified life coach, I'm trained to ask the right questions. And so in the book, I'm going to be asking you the questions, and then you're going to be giving your own answers. Because the answers are already inside of you. And so that is that's what you can find next for me. Also, my women's ministry, I'll be relaunching that, and it's called Daughters of Eve. Eve has gotten a bad rap. Eve has been, talked about, mistreated, and abused for years. And we blame Eve for everything wrong that go on in our bodies, and pain and childbirth and cramps and all the things bad. And I really, the Lord really started showing me, and I started digging through Genesis and really looking at Eve and looking at Adam and looking at like the beginning of creation and how this thing went, and how it's really a story of redemption. It's really a story of, you can mess up, but there's still life after your mess ups. Because we always talk about, they ate the fruit and they got kicked out of the garden and all of this stuff, but you got to understand that they were the first to do a lot of things, the first to feel the pain of childbirth, the first to ever be banished out of something. You can't go into this garden, but you can look at it, but you can't go in there. The first to have to build a city, the first to have to be, you building from scratch. Who taught you how to build? Who taught you how to build a building? Who taught, like, the first to have to raise a family and kids and all of these things with no training, right? And now you have this sense of separation from God now, because you're in the garden and you were communing with him. But then now when sin came into the earth, there is a separation now between God and man. So now they're the first to have to try to navigate. Now, how do I develop this relationship with God again throughout all of this? And the moral of the story is they lived. And because they live, you can live. You can live past your mistakes. You can live past your mess ups, your bad decisions, your trauma, the abuse, the pain, all the things. You can live through it and get over it. And the women's ministry is going to deal with those things. Life after divorce, life after trauma, life after everything, life after embarrassment. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to pouring into women. I'm looking forward to the touring, the singing, I'm looking forward to just seeing how God is going to use all these things that have happened to me to help people.
I was gonna ask you, what would you say to your 15-year-old younger you? But
I just said it.
you just kind of spilled that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there? Well, I do want to ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to blame, or I'm sorry, who's to thank for the person you are today? Who would you thank?
I have to thank 2 people. 3 people. First, God, for never giving up on me, for loving me, for being long-suffering, for being my friend, my anchor, everything I have ever needed, for being faithful, for being a just God, for being just everything to me, for showing me my worth, for giving me my mind back after having a nervous breakdown, just for everything. Then I have to thank myself. I have to thank myself for continuing to show up despite all of the things that I've gone through, despite, feeling like not having the support that I thought I wanted from certain people. Myself, for motivating myself from within. A lot of times we have external motivations. Our children, this, I'm motivated by this, I'm motivated by, my career, I'm motivated by money, I'm motivated by just different things. But during the pandemic, I had to learn how to motivate myself. Like, self-motivation is so key and it's important because I'm committed to me. And if I'm committed to me and not giving up on me, when those external sources, which they do, they leave. Sometimes people are fickle, they're funny, they're, wishy-washy. When those type of things happen, because I'm committed to me, I'm going to keep showing up for me. So I got to thank God, I'm going to thank myself, and I want to thank my godmother. I have a great tribe of people around me that hold me accountable, that love me, that check on me. And so I'm singling her out, but she's not the only one. But my godmother, Dr. D. Greathouse, who helped me navigate through being depressed, being suicidal, going through divorce. And over the past 5 years of my life, she has played a critical, vital role in my life. And so, yeah, I want to thank her for being in my life.
I want you to stare in the mirror like you're doing now. I got one question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy?
I am extremely happy. Yes, I am happy.
Anything else that you want to talk about, touch on, speak on?
I think we covered a lot. I appreciate y'all for this opportunity, though.
Do you see anything differently in the mirror now that you've had this conversation?
I see a grown woman, baby. I see a boss. I see an entrepreneur. I see hope. I see my future. I'm just proud of myself. I'm proud of the work that I've done. I'm proud of the woman that I've become and that I'm becoming. And I'm just looking forward to doing all the things to help people and to just encourage young women and just try to keep them from making a lot of the mistakes that I had to make.
You ever sat in front of a mirror this long?
No.
It's different, right?
It is.
Let's give it up for Tasha Page-Lockhart. Amazing. Real survivor. I want to come give you a hug.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I appreciate you.
Wow. This is amazing. Thank you, everybody here. Y'all are amazing. The energy was... Oh, my God. Like, I don't even, like, know what's going on with my body right now. It's like... I'm like... Your story is amazing. It needs a movie. It needs a sequel. Yeah, like, you...
Oh,
yeah,
different.
you ain't heard half of the
You
stories.
different. You a monster. I don't think. Wow, there's nothing that you can't do for real.